Can you hear me now? Thank you, Tony. Oh dear, oh dear. I had to, because I'm doing this through Zoom and I had Zoom on mute. So, okay, cool. Thank you, Tony. Right, here we go. So the idea here is that, okay, the idea here is I had a request earlier in the week from my cousin in South Africa, who's coming on every day with his 5-year-old son, is to help with the meaning, help with, he's been assigned while he's not at school to get to grips, he's 5, to get to grips with the concept of the place value, and that how many hundreds make 1,000 seems to be the big leap that they're expecting. Thank you, Tony. The big leap that they're expecting. Now, I'm from me to you, parents, that's a lot to ask a 5-year-old, to actually understand it. Now, sometimes academics, as in schools, they have certain things they've got to do by a certain time, and they put a lot of pressure on to get it. And so maybe a child might end up being able to, I'm going to bring it down here now, we're going to, sorry, I forgot, we need a ruler and a pen or a pencil. You can, in fact, now that I've forgotten, I'm going to say we do need a piece of paper for this. It is going to help enormously, and it will also help if I figure out how to align the camera so that okay. So basically, you're just going to make, you've probably seen something like this before, and that's my right. Okay, that's your. I'm just going to. This is. Don't need them. We're going to be bigger than that. Let's just split this into ones, tens, hundreds, thousands. So split it into 4. And I'm sure Tony can come up with some really good games to play this as well, actually. So I really love that, Tony. So what we've got here is this represents, I'm hoping that this is this way up. So this represents the ones. This represents the tens. This represents the hundreds. And this is a really, really, really big numbers. This represents the thousands. Now, we're going to start off the game. This is all about making sure, first of all, we're going to start here. We're going to stay here until we're sure we've got the meaning and the value of numbers from 1 to 9. Now, to do that, we're actually going to use 2 dice. We're going to throw a dice. So how many of our little pieces do we need to put on there? Well, 1, 2, 3. So how many pieces have we got? How many is that? That's 3. So this 1 and 2 makes 3. Cool. Now we're going to leave those. Well, that would be the first game. Simply throw 2 dice. I've got all different colours. Oh, we've got. Now, my grandson's got to the point where he can get up to 10 with these. When he goes past 10, he struggles a bit, but that's all right. He's 5. 1, 2, 3. But this is a way that you can do it. Or you can have three of the same colour. 1, 2, 3, and then 4 of another colour, and add them all up. Or you can have random colours, depending. If you mix and match, 1, 2, 3, 4. If you mix and match, then that helps them realise that it's not at the moment we're looking for the total quantity of whatever's in that box. They don't have to all be the same. There are some exercises where you need to separate them out, and they all mean something different. But in this case, as long as it's an object in there, its value is 7, because it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, can you it is the right way up, Tony? Okay, please confirm, Tony, that this is the right way up. Okay, now, so that you can just keep playing that game, and if that's a struggle, then we'll find variations of that to make that into a game in of itself. And actually, I've got a big tip for you. Monopoly Junior is fantastic. I'm going to actually get a copy. I love this. I love this game. Monopoly Junior is really effective at working out the counting on. Of course, Snakes and Ladders is also good at the counting on. Snakes and Ladders is a bit more emotionally hard to handle because of the snakes. But you can just change the rules. You can work it out that you can only go down each snake once and different things just to help them get into touch. But this game, all the money is in units. Every single money piece is just a unit of one. And you start with 20 if there's 2 of you playing. You can have 3, 4 people, or can play in teams, and you're only dealing. Cheers. This is a cut from my lovely friend, young friend that I used to tutor when he was little. So what was I saying? I was saying that make sure that you've grasped that, and a really good way to really understand whether a child has grasped up to 20 is playing Monopoly Junior. And then what we're actually doing with my grandson, who is 5, is we're playing big boy Monopoly, but we're playing it kind of with Monopoly Junior rules, but we have to manipulate the bank. And the bank covers what Danny was asking about, which is the bank goes up to 500, and then of course 2 500s mean 1,000. And in the game you do actually have these big numbers coming up because of hotels and whatnot. And so at the moment with Leo, it's just, I really don't know what these are, but because we're playing it again and again, every time we play, he develops an understanding of the value of the properties, and slowly but surely he is developing an understanding of the value of the numbers, and there's no pressure on him at all to know it. When he doesn't do it, we give him a little bit of coaching, and then we just help him play the game. But each time we get a little bit further along with his understanding. So this game I'm going to be playing with him. Probably going to play, because I play with him every day, play with this game with him today, I think. And I've got him one of these visualizers so he can play this as well. So I've got to figure out how to get one to him. Right, now, so we have 7. Now we're going to change the game slightly. We're going to add 3 on. So now we're going to add 1, 2, 3. So this game now, instead of just playing in this bit here, I tell you what, the other thing, of course, it is possible with this game to throw a 5 and a 6, or a 6 and a 6, in which case you would, or let's just start with 5 and 5. Let's just make it simple. Let's go with 5 and 5. And you could play the game where you're not rolling the dice, where you're actually intentionally going for the smallest number. Whoopsie, stop turning it round and you'll get to the number you want, the smallest number. And then what's the next number after that, and have the child actually find you the next number up, and then the next number up, and just literally go up, so they can find the numbers. I just thought of that. I really like that, have the child literally progress through the number sequence starting with 1. Now we've got to 10, and then put them out on here. So they're represented by something tangible and manipulative. So we had 6, then we had 7, we had 8, we were on 9, and now we have one more, which is 10. Oh, I like this. This wasn't intentional. I've just found only 9 fit in that nice square. So that's actually a good idea. Make the square to fit just 9 of them. So we don't have, where are we going to put the 10? Well, this is the 10 column. Every 1 in this column means we've got 10 in this. So we'll put that one there. That's 10, but that doesn't fit in there. So we're going to, instead of having 10 in this one, we still have 10, but we have a way of describing it. So now that 1 there, we can now get rid of all of these. And now we have 10. So if we were writing this, I'm going to write it, I can write it here, I suppose. Now, that went from being 9. So the maximum we can have in here is 9. We can't have more than 9. In this one, we can't have more than 9 dots. And in this one, we can't have more than 9. I hope I'm writing that right. And in this one, we can't have more than 9. So right now, what we've got, we can keep track of it. I'm going to keep track of it over here so you can see what I'm doing. Now we've got 10. Is that right? Is that the right way around for you? I don't think it is. Is it the right way around for you? I think it's got to be this way. Now we've got 10. Okay, we've got 10 there. It's sideways. You've got to turn your head if you're little to make sure you get it. Or you can write it on a separate piece of paper. So we've now got 10. Well, let's keep rolling the dice. Boing, ba-dong, dong. Now we've got another 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And roll the dice. We've got another 2. Oh, so 1, 2, 3, 4 is, that's 10 and 4. So 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Another 2, 11, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. You can leap to it if you want. I'm just walking it through so that, because my grandson, so in a month it'll be different. But right now, my grandson struggles to add these numbers above 10. So it's still very good for us to be playing Monopoly Junior. And we're also playing other games where he has to add between 10 and 20. So he just gets familiar with it. So now I've got 1, let's do that order. 1, 2, these were here. 1, 2, 3, 4, there's no room for it. We can only fit 9. So that's a total of 10. So we can put it here and get rid of these. But now we've got 20. 1, 2, 10, 20. Each one of these is worth 10 of these. And it really is worth 10. And you can actually, that's why I've got these little things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think there were 2 went in there. That's 10. That's worth 10. And another one. Now you can make these out of bits of cardboard. You don't have to go out and buy them. You don't have to find them. You can literally just make little discs out of bits of cardboard or bits of paper, paint them, make them as fancy as you like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So these 2 dots here represent 20. We write them like that. 20, that's how we write them, but what they actually are is this. Now, let's say we've filled it up and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this, now when we throw the dice, we're saying it's 10. So we've got another, sorry, let's go back to our 2. Now we're going to progress. We're going to say it's another 10. Or even we could throw 2 dice. Actually, that might be a good idea. Throw 2 dice. And so we can do, okay, this one's, which way around are you looking at it? This one's 10. Get it right. I tell you something, when I'm doing this, it's because they're actually, not sure if I've got this the right way up. Yeah, I'm going to have to, my brain has been going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth since I've been working on doing this exercise. I'm going to have to watch this over when I'm done, because I think I might have them the opposite way, because I think I'm doing these the way I want to see them. And I think it should be the other way around. We can make little square, little counters. Yeah. Danny, by the way, I'm going to be doing this again on YouTube at your 11 o'clock, just FYI, but only very, very briefly. And this time I'll step from what you're doing for 5-year-olds. Oh, okay, right. Oh, nice one. Okay. Spin high, spin low is a good game. Okay, brilliant. So we've got a game. We have a game, Danny, and Tony has put in a link above to play, which is, it's a game for 5-year-olds. And it doesn't involve plus or minus, it involves how they're written. Okay, what I'm working on understanding here and finding a way of playing the game. I'm not sure at what point you joined, Danny, but the idea of this game is that you throw a dice and you start filling up the number one. I think I might have it the wrong way around. I'm not 100% sure about this, and I might have it reversed that way because I've just, this visualizer is now working. So if you throw 2, you put down 2. You throw 1, you put down 1. So that's 1, 2, 3, and on the dice it's 1, 2, 3. And if you throw another 1, you put down 5, 1, 2. So the idea, Danny, is that I'm a little bit concerned that Ray's school has actually asked you to go leap into thousands for a 5-year-old, to understand thousands for a 5-year-old. So the idea is to slow it down, and we're going to come up with a series of games where I know my 5-year-old grandson does not get the concept. He understands big numbers. Yeah, it's big, it's lots. But to actually do the structured transition from 1 to 10 to 100 to 1,000 and then multiples of 1,000, he's definitely not got that. And the tools that I'm recommending, some of the many ideas you can play Monopoly Junior with Ray to make sure he's got, this is what this will do, is make sure he's got 1 to 20 solid. My grandson's got 1 to 10. He's really good. He can throw 2 dice now. He can throw 2 dice and he knows that's 2. But he has to count them. He's still counting them. He doesn't see it and know yet. When you're seeing it and knowing it, then you know you've got 1 to 12 in the case of 6 dice, 1 to 6 dice. But then also the confidence of those numbers from 10 to 20. You really want to make sure you've got that solid. That's Ray. That's Ray. It's the right way round. It's the right way round. Thank goodness for that. Thank you, Tony. So what messes me up with this one though is that normally you'd put the ones here, and that's why I'll replay it. Okay, but it's the right round, so that's good. So I really want you, Danny, to go back and play at the beginning. Start from the beginning and work your way up. Make sure, and you will know if Ray hasn't got a concept. And if he hasn't got a concept, it's not a matter of that's wrong. There's no that's wrong. It's simply that he hasn't understood it yet. So what you do if it's clear that they haven't got it is you just keep doing it. Keep doing it. I mean, I've had to learn a new language in the last 10 years. How did I learn it? I learned it by hearing it again and again. And that's exactly how children learn a language, is just by hearing it. And so, right, the next one, going to throw another one. Oh, that's a bit boring. Well, you know what, that's not a bad thing. We've now got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, but there's no room for it. We can only go up to 9 with this one. So what are we going to do with it? Well, there's the 10 column. Well, we can put it there, but then we've got 19. We don't want 19, that's 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. We don't want 19, we want 10. And all you have to do is take away all of those here and put 1 there, and then you've got 10. And you can keep adding in smaller numbers, or you can then change it. Okay, now we're going to look at the 10 column. Now we're going to add 3 more 10s. Well, I'm actually going to add, I'm going to cheat. I'm going to add 2 more, 1 more 10. Now we've got 20, but what I didn't show you was we've got all these ramekins, got loads of them, they're all the same size, and I've got a bowl full of, there are actually about 100 things. I think there might be 150 things in that bowl. You want over 100 things to be able to play this, to do this. So I'm going to go over the concept today, and I'm going to stop quite soon. I'm just going to go all the way to 1,000 now. So you can make these games whatever you want to make them, but you can have games that focus on going from the ones into the 10s. You can be counting in 10s, so you can be 10, 20, there's another 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, but be very careful here. Now let me know, Danny, if Ray is able to understand the concept of counting in tens. I know that Leo is not. He is not ready to count in tens. He will be at some point this year, but he isn't now. So asking him to count in tens, it's just, he just looks at you as though you're talking a foreign language. So keep moving on until you can count in tens. So if you're playing Monopoly Junior, well, actually, if you play Big Boy Monopoly with him, you can use the big numbers and do it for him, and very slowly but surely, as he starts understanding, integrate his. So for example, Leo has to work out his own change of 10. So some of the rent is under 10 or even 10 to 20, but anything under 10 he has to work out for himself. And that we're moving him on to anything under 20 he'll have to work out for himself. We'll help him a little bit and then he'll be working it out for himself. He understands a 20, but for example, making 40 out of 2 20s so far is not making sense to him. So what we do is we put in tens. He understands 4 10s, they're 40. So we don't use the 20s, we use the 10s. And then we can start showing him that 2 10s are a 20. And once he's really got that 2 10s are a 20, then we'll move on to using the 20s for him. He can use the 20s. We're using the 20s, but he's not using them until he gets them, because it's a stretch slightly, it stretches slightly too far, and it's not helping him. So here we go. So we're just going to look at the full scope of the game, and then but not necessarily play it. I really encourage you to play down here initially, as I want to be sure that Ray has got this. I'd be happy to do a session with you as well to be able to assess it. Now, so for tens we had if we had 20 tens, we've got 20 of these. So you literally represent, once you get to larger numbers that are being represented by one symbol, one dot, you really want to have to one side something that actually shows you, okay, each one of these is 10. This is what it means. It means this. So I would actually encourage you, if you've got 5, you can do that with 10s quite easily. If you've got 5 in a box, to actually have 5 ramekins or little bowls or something with 10 things in them set to one side that represents that number. Now that gets harder to do as you move on, but you can still have a separate piece of paper at this point that shows you how many dots, or even you can have like, so this could be, so you've got 1, that's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You do that, just do little dots like that represent it, but you really want a visual. Do it better than me, obviously. Now, when you get to the hundreds, this is why. This is exact. So you can kind of labor this, so that, and really labor the fact that to get up to 100. So then we're going to go to 100. To get up to 100, that's an awful lot of dots, and that's an awful lot of ramekins full of 10 dots. So that's why we go for a way of writing out numbers rather than having a little dot to represent every single number. And it, is boring. We don't want to be bored. Okay, I'll do it. That's okay. Thank you. Maybe we could have a conversation about that, Tony. So, and it's boring. So now we've got 10 of those. Well, 10 tens is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. So we've got 10 tens. So actually all we need is one dot here. And what does that mean? That now means if we take the contents of all 10 of these smaller ones and pour them into one bigger bowl, so we have 10 filled with these, pour them into one bigger bowl, that would represent one just one, just one of these. So you could have a picture, you could maybe take a picture of them. So you see, or find a picture of 100 things. Maybe that's an idea for me. Hello, I can find a picture of 100 things that can add to the resource. And so you can put 10 of those pictures of 100 things that now mean something. Actually, better than me finding something, it is actually better that you have something that your child has touched, can actually see. Here is the bowl of 100. Now we're going to make pictures, or they can make pictures. Even better. Ha! I'm creating as I'm going. They can make pictures of the bowl of 100. You can make it in a square if that's easier. And it's just whatever the picture, it's a representation, and just do lots of those. And then for each one of those, you can then put that down, that little picture that we've got. So there's our pictures. Be more creative than that, hopefully. I'm going to just rip that. So that's, there we go. So we've got our little squares. Each one of those represents one bowl full of 100. So that's 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800. There'll be proper pictures. It's just literally just occurred to me. So 900, 1,000. But wait, we don't have room for 1,000 in there. 1,000's got to go over here. So once you have 1,000, you then put it there. Now, Danny has some little cubes at the school. Danny's school has some little cubes, and these little cubes, bigger than these, has on the outside, it's got basically 100 dots on every face. Is it 100? Yes, 100 dots on every face. No, that's not right. 100 times 100. Anyway, I'll have to work that out. However many dots, but and they represent. So what worries me about that representation, Danny, is that is Ray actually understanding that in her little cube that she's got, that actually represents 1,000 of these? Does Ray understand that? That's I really would like you to find to by drawing things, by creating a bowl of 100, and then get Ray to then draw his own pictures of these, and then use those to get to 1,000. And then if you've got 1,000 of something, even better, because you can make 1,000, you can cut 1,000 little squares out, or even draw 1,000 squares on a piece of paper, and it's quite boring. So this is why we represent it in a different way. So but that you really play with that number 1,000, but don't play with it. Play with it, maybe go there, because maybe you might feel the need to, because school has asked you to. Go there, and in the process of going there with Ray, you will discover what he understands and what he doesn't. So you can go and do it and play with it and share your ideas. And obviously there's not 1,000 here, so to get 1,000, you want 100, 10, well, can you see what I'm doing? I want 10 rows of 100. So I'm not actually sure what, I'll have to have another look at the picture that you sent me, because it's not 100 times 100, because there'd be more than 1,000 in that. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, and then this is actually 100. So each of these is 100. There's 100 of those in there. 10 times 10 is 100. But 100 times 100 is 10,000. Sorry, other way up. I'm thinking, I need to see, I don't know how they've structured the little cubes that they've given you. I have to have another look at that. She's got these little cubes with lots of little squares on them that represent 1,000. So I need to have a look at that. Okay, so you can make something with 1,000 squares on it, or 1,000 circles, whatever shape ignites Ray or your child. It could be circles. If you want to just do lots and lots of circles, circles are kind of fun to draw. Whatever it is, make something that has 1,000 of it, so that they really understand that number there means 1,000. Lots and lots and lots of things. And the reason why we write 1000 is because, boy, is it easier to write and quicker than to actually put all those dots on. So I'm going to leave that there for now, and I'm going to have a chat with Tony and come up with an improvement for Monday. But Monday, I'll be doing this stuff over the weekend too. Monday, if we get a bowl with 100 things in it and get Ray to draw out, maybe we'll do that over the weekend. We'll actually do that as an exercise. That's maybe there, because that's more play. To draw a picture of it, I'll draw my own infantile picture. It's as much as I'm capable of doing. You can have them all the same, or you can have lots of different things, maybe lots of toys, but they've got, I mean, it doesn't have to be in a small bowl. It can be in a big tray. You can find 100 toys and put them on a big tray and use those toys as manipulatives, as long as you can fit 9 of them in each. You can create squares and get 9 of them in each square, and we'll just play that game on Monday and have an even better version of it, because I'm going to have a chat with Tony at some point over the weekend. Thank you. I'll lift this up to see me. How is that? Oh, hello. Thank you very much for joining me. I don't even know. Oh, that was a long session. I'd really got into that. I hope you did. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll be playing with this over the weekend. I think I'll still play with this element that's just the number sense, getting a sense of the numbers and making sure that your child has a number sense, because that's where they can fall behind. If one assumes that they know what they're supposed to know, it's not about knowledge, it's about understanding. So they can parrot out things as they know. They can, well, yeah, 10 ones is 10. Or, you know, they can, like, they'll learn how to count in tens, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. That's fun. But then when they have to go 101, over that barrier, we'll be working on that. We might stick with number for a few days. You realize that actually they don't, that there's something missing there. And it's having that solid number sense. You start with a solid number sense to 10, and then you develop it to 20 and get really solid and get the number bonds going. So you know different combinations that make 15, different combinations that make 20. So 11 and 9 make 20, and 2 and 18 make 20. So you can play with numbers up to 20, and this is your ideal time to do this, to be playing with numbers, playing games with numbers. And Monopoly Junior, I'm telling you, is a great game to do that. It's a fun game. I mean, my one here has got, and you can create something like it. It doesn't have to be if you can't actually obtain it. It's got a dinosaur, a duck, a doggy, and a penguin. I'm the penguin, of course. Games like that, or just rolling dice. Create your own board games. Snakes and Ladders, where you're combining. Snakes and Ladders play with 2 dice, so you're going up to 12. So they actually have to do additions like this. You don't have to add it; they can just count. But get familiar with 6 and 5 make 11. Really get familiar with the combinations. You can use 3, so you are going up to 18. You can use 4 if you want to go to 20. My grandson at this point going over 20, he's just getting into the concept now. So it is not an indication of a child's intelligence. It is not an indication of a child's ability, of the ability of the level they can attain. There's nothing. It is purely what you are doing, is making sure that they've got solid foundation to be working on, which is going to stand them in really good stead when they come up with more abstract concepts. So see you tomorrow. Well, I'm going to do tomorrow. It'll be a lot of play. I will just play games tomorrow and Sunday. And then Monday morning, bowl of 100 and have pictures. That's what tomorrow morning we are going to do that. We're literally going to create, I'm going to create 100 homemade little pictures representing 100 things. They could be sweeties, they could be anything you like. And I might just do that. I might get something different, but I don't know what. Anyway, work something out. It can be bits of card. I'm going to use something very basic. Okay, see you tomorrow if you want to join tomorrow. See you Monday if you want to have the weekend completely away from maths. Although I can't imagine why anybody would want to do that. See you tomorrow. See you tomorrow or Monday. Bye. Thank you. Oh, hi Barry. Oh, I've got to stay now. I've got Barry on. Hi Barry. Oh my goodness, this is absolutely delightful. I'm doing today. We've been doing. We've been playing with my cousin from Cape Town. Has been given the assignment. Her son is 5, and she's been given the assignment of working through to 1,000 and actually expected to understand. And I'm a bit concerned about it, Barry, that Ray will be maybe learn how to do it rote and not actually understand the meaning of 100 or 1,000. My grandson, who's also 5, is still, if you go over 20, he's not got that. So that's what we're working on, and Tony's hopefully going to give me some pointers there. We've got a resource on there. So that's what we're going to be doing. I'm doing this at 9 o'clock every morning. So that's 10 o'clock your time at the moment. And yeah, just slowly but surely working through. These are all being saved on YouTube, so they will be added as a resource. And the Aiming High resources, we're slowly creating videos for Aiming High resources. So Aiming High we put a link on to all our lives. So yeah, wow, it's good to see you, Barry. It was unexpected. I trust you're both well. Sending lots of love to you all. Right. Oh, and so I was showing you that. So I'm going to say bye-bye. Can't speak. Bye-bye, and see you tomorrow or Monday, whichever you choose. Bye. I've got to stop it.